All right, being 6:30, we'll call the Tuesday, June 17th Common Council meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, clerk, roll call has been taken. Thank you. All right, move into the adoption of the agenda.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Barrington, second by Mr. Roberts. Any additions or corrections to those? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion is carried by all. Approval of 5/20/25 Common Council minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Roberts, second by Mr. Dorsey. Any additions or corrections to those? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried by all. Mr. Dorsey, authorization to pay the bills, please.
Your Honor, I make a motion for the authorization to pay the new bills in the amount of $1,356,427.05. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, second by Mr. Fache. Any additions or corrections to those? Hearing none, please cast your ballot. Please hold.
Proceed. Okay.
Now you guys.
There we go.
Gowski, and that motion's carried 10-0. Right, thank you all. All right, moving on, public comment. Yeah, this is your time to speak if you have public comment. Any public comment? All right, hearing no public comment. Move on to standing and special committees. Mr. Hess.
Thank you, Your Honor. Board of Public Works met Monday, June 2nd. Meeting is called to order at 5:15. Motion made and approved the agenda. Motion carried by all. There was no public input. Motion made and second to approve the May 5th, 2025 minutes. Motion was carried by all. Wastewater treatment plan updates. Wastewater notes enclosed in the packet. Approve and recommend 2024 CMAR resolution. A copy of the compliance maintenance annual report was available for review in the DPW packet. This is an annual requirement for the submittal to the DNR. There were no questions from the committee about the resolution. Motion made and seconded to recommend it to approve the resolution. Motion was carried 8-0. Presentation of preliminary compliance alternative plan for the wastewater treatment plan by Mike Gerbitz from Donahue and Associates Incorporated. Director Garcia introduced Mike Gerbitz from Donahue and Associates Incorporated to provide an executive summary of the report. The information provided were alternatives and solutions to meet the phosphorus limits defined by the DNR by 2029. The PCAP had plant upgrade options and potential cost options for different solutions. It was stressed many times during discussion that it's not a matter of when, it's not if the city needs to upgrade the plant. It is recommended by the engineer at the City of New London timely chooses an option and aggressively pursues it. No motion was taken. Approve to recommend the council development agreement amendment for the Hunchkey subdivision. The Hunchkey development agreement had a 3-inch requirement for asphalt. The new standard for asphalt streets is now 4 inches. The agreement also states that a developer would apply both lifts of the asphalt at the same time. It is recommended that the binder lift of asphalt is put down and remain in binder until the development is almost complete to keep the surface layer from getting compromised for the construction equipment. The amended agreement states that the developer would still cover the full cost of 3 inches of asphalt, but only place 2.5 inches of binder down, and the balance would cost would be given to the city to put an escrow to help cover the cost of the surface layer when the development is at 80% capacity. The city would then be required to put on the surface layer at the city's expense. Motion made in second, approve a council development agreement amendment for the Huntsville subdivision, including all the additional amendment languages of the surface layer to be applied after subdivision is at 80%. Motion was carried 8-0. Director's memo was included in the packet and was reviewed by the board. Anniversaries: Ivan Casterjohn, street operator, 4 years of service. Oshkosh Street started prepping for curb and gutter work. PTS started a sanitary main on the south and working towards Pershing Street. The intersection of Washington Street and Oshkosh to close on Friday, June 6th. Continue work on RPF for the citywide garbage collection. Future agenda items for the citywide contracted garbage collection. The date and time for the next Board of Public Works meeting will be Monday, June 30th, 2025 at 5:15. Being no further discussion, meeting was adjourned at 6:43. I'd like to make a motion to consider approval for the resolution of approving the 2024 WWPT Compliance Maintenance Annual Report.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Haas, second by Ms. Magowski. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballot. Please hold. Please cast your ballot. That motion carried 10-0.
I'd like to make a motion, to consider approval the amendment to the developments agreement for the Hunchkey subdivision.
Second.
Motion made, by Mr. Haas, second by Mr. Ritchie. Please cast your ballots. That motion is carried 10-0 as well.
This time I just have a little note for the public here. As chairman of the Board of Public Works, I want to take a moment to emphasize some key points discussed in our recent meeting minutes regarding the future and necessity improvements needed for our wastewater treatment plant. It's been on our radar for some time now, and the future upgrades will be repaired due to the plant's age and anticipated new regulations from both the DNR and EPA. Compliance with these future regulations will not be optional. Unfortunately, with the given current cost of the construction, this will not be a small or inexpensive project. As noted by the engineer in his preliminary analysis, our staff has done an excellent job maintaining the facility and maximizing the life of the existing equipment and infrastructure. However, the outdated technology in which the plant was originally built on is no longer sufficient to treat wastewater efficiently or the standards that will soon be required. We cannot simply shut down the wastewater treatment plant. Upgrades will be required. We're not alone in this situation. Many wastewater treatment plants in Wisconsin are making similar improvements needed for these new requirements. A full plant upgrade will likely be necessary to incorporate new technologies and treatment processes to meet future regulatory standards. I strongly encourage everybody to visit the city's YouTube channel and watch the engineer's presentation from the June 2nd Board of Public Works meeting. He provides a very good summary and analysis of the current facility, outlines preliminary upgrade options, discusses potential costs, and explains why it's crucial that we begin planning for this project now. If any of you have any questions in the future after watching the presentation, please don't hesitate to contact the Department of Public Works. And thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Haas, and thank you for highlighting that as well. Up next, Finance and Personnel, Mr. Dorsey.
Your Honor, the Finance Personnel Committee met Wednesday, June 4th. Meeting was called to order at 5:15. Approve the agenda. Approve the May 7th, 2025 meeting minutes. There's no public comment. Finance Director Adke led a discussion on the financing of the DPW bucket truck and Oshkosh Street paving project. The committee directed Finance Director Radke to submit an application to the State of Wisconsin Trust Loan Fund Program and present supporting financial resolutions at the next Financial Committee meeting on July 2nd. We discussed financial reports, the director's report. There be no further business. We were adjourned at 6:10. We'll make a motion to consider the approval of the annual license list.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, second by Mr. Roberts. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed? That motion is carried by all.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Park and Recreation, Mr. Besaw.
Thank you, Your Honor. Park and Rec Committee met on Tuesday, June 3rd. The meeting was called to order at 5:15. Motion to approve the agenda was made and seconded. Adopt the agenda with the amendment of striking item number 5. Motion carried by all 12-0. Motion was made and second to approve the May 5th, 2025 meeting minutes. That motion also carried 12-0. Public input, there was none. Discuss on festival grounds and or large event open space use. Director Saul opened discussion about developing in the area for the large events that have grown, as we have seen an increase in large scale festival events that are bringing in large number of people. There is an option of looking into improving the drainage at Hatton Park Allen Field or trying to utilize the nature area on the north end of town. Discussion was met with a positive response to continue to look into options for a large area to hold such events. Saul researched probable cost estimates for both reconstructing Allen Field and preparing a park master plan for the nature area. No motion was made or vote taken. Director's report, Director Saul explained that NLGYSA has went through leadership changes since the agenda item number 5 was added to the meeting. And the new leadership would like to take a step back and meet with Saul internally to discuss and connect on the project. She hopes to invite them back to an upcoming meeting with an update. Director Saul's was included in the packet agenda and reviewed by the committee. Additional comments, notes follows. Corp survey is open for feedback on the community's open or outdoor space and programming. Bids are coming due on Tuesday for the courtesy dock and overflow parking. Staff recognition, Jacob Brash completed his DOT CDL training and a 2-year anniversary. Chairman's report, there was none. Future items, there was none. Next Park and Rec meeting will be at July 1st at 5:15. And no further things to be discussed. The meeting was closed at 5:47. Motion carried by all. All I have.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. All right, up next is the Planning Commission, Mr. Ritchie. Mr. Besaw, I'm sorry. I was ahead of myself. All right, Mr. Ritchie, you're up.
May 22nd, 2025 Planning Commission meeting was called to order at 5:15. A motion was made and seconded to adopt agenda. The April 24, 2025 minutes were reviewed and approved. There was no public comment. The only action item on the agenda was a front yard fence proposal for 221 Elm Street. Richie discussed some of the particulars. The zoning administrator provided a site plan showing fence and gate location and the assurance that the request complied with the current zoning code. Motion was made and seconded, carried by all. Ben Rue from Vandywell and Associates led a discussion on zoning code rewrite. Van Rue provided a handout with a proportion of part 2, reveal continuing policy questions and landscaping and exterior design standards. Ben Rue went through the information in the handout, and there was a discussion about the pros and cons of the language he provided. Vandywell seeking direction from the Planning Commission moving forward. The commission agreed to move ahead all the language presented with the fine tuning as time goes on. Upcoming items on the agenda is just to continue the zoning rewrite. Motion was made to adjourn the meeting at 6:15. Looking for a motion to consider the approval of ordinance rezoning parcel number 3313-111 through 3313-120 located on the south side of Southland Lane to R2, single and two-family residential. Second reading.
Motion made by Mr. Ritchie, second by Mr. Dorsey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion is carried 10-0.
And that's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. Economic Development Committee, Ms. Croy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Economic Development Committee meeting for May 27th was called to order at 5:15 PM. The agenda was approved as presented. Meeting minutes from April 22nd, 2025 were reviewed and approved as presented. There was no public comment. Kim Chonos from Dare Wolf Garden addressed the committee to request a timeline adjustment to a development agreement for the proposed downtown beer garden, citing minor delays in planning and some family medical setbacks. A draft amendment to the development agreement was presented, indicating that construction would begin no later than December 31st, 2025, with substantial completion by July 1st, 2026. It was recommended to council to consider the amendment with the adjusted timeline, and that was carried unanimously. Director Soul reviewed a senior capstone project created by UW-Madison student Milo Augusto, who is pursuing a Bachelor of Landscaping Architecture degree. Milo developed a downtown revitalization plan for New London. The 88-page document included a history of the city, a regional analysis of local land types, a community analysis, and suggestions for downtown improvements, citing current trends and examples from other communities. The report offers valuable context and examples that staff and the committee can reference in future downtown planning efforts. Staff informed the committee that they would be applying for a free technical assistance through the East Central Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission's Strategic Planning and Revitalization Communities Program. The program involves a one-day event that brings in a landscape architect to facilitate community input and generate ideas for revitalizing a space within the community. Chamber Director's Business Report. New Bait Shop has opened at 1200 North Shawano Street, Suite 5. Victory Land Diecast at 1200 North Shawano Street, Suite 4 has closed. The storefront is now available. Olive and Rose Boutique is closing at 309 West North Water Street as a new owner is filling the space with a new business. Excuse me. The Labrador Lodge, located outside the city, is looking for a temporary space for their business as they are looking to relocate into the city limits. A ribbon cutting was held on June 5th for Kane & Company, a new hair salon and boutique store. Hilby's New London Lanes at 106 East Wolf River Avenue has been sold to a new owner. City Administrator's Report. There was an update provided on the progress of a future residential development on Alcan Road. Information was also shared regarding an upcoming open house for a proposed solar farm development north of New London. The developers are interested in purchasing property in the city's northeast industrial park for a substation and maintenance facility. The open house will be held at the Senior Center within the Washington Center on Monday, June 16th from 4 to 7 p.m. The committee reviewed potential topics for future discussion. The next economic development meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, June 24th at 5:15 p.m. The meeting was adjourned at 6:16 p.m. unanimously. And I would like to make a motion to approve the development agreement timeline amendment with Dare Wolf Garden LLC.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Croy, second by Mr. Fiche. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion's carried 10-0.
And that is all I have. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Croy. All right, minutes and reports will stand as read in your packet, which brings us right down to reports of officers and recent events and announcements to the public. We'll start off with the mayor's report. I would like to tell everybody to have a safe and happy 4th of July in your celebrations. We won't see it until after that. And then next is the mayoral appointments. This one comes with the needing this motion and a second from council. I'd like to appoint Jeff Calbranson to the Housing Authority.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, seconded by Mr. Besaw. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your ballots. That motion's carried 10-0 as well. And that is all I have. City Administrator, Mr. Hurt.
Thank you, Your Honor. Anyone who's been in the downtown recently may notice a little activity at the old First State Bank building. I'm happy to report that it's official that work has begun to renovate the building into the new public library. So we're excited to see some of that work finally begin and look forward to ribbon cutting probably sometime early summer 2026, but we'll get a better timeline as the project continues. People are asking when it's going to be open and things, so we'll kind of get a better idea, but we're shooting for 2026 summer right now. Secondly, like was talked about in the economic development minutes, there was an open house last night that we assisted a little bit in advertising for. Avangrid, an energy company, is interested in developing a large solar farm being planned about 2 miles north of New London. And the company who's working on those plans held an open house last night. They provided information to the public and allowed opportunity to ask questions. The company is also interested in purchasing several parcels in the city's industrial park for a substation to feed the power to the larger ATC substation located in the industrial park, as well as to build a maintenance facility for the base of the operations. If anyone who could not attend that open house last night has questions, let me know. Contact me at the office here. I would be more than happy to get you in touch with the Avangrid's representation. They will be more than happy to provide information, answer questions. Otherwise, I'll also point out that the Economic Development Committee will be having some discussions and allowing some public input at next week's Economic Development Committee meeting on the topic of selling property for the substation and the maintenance facility. We're not talking about the solar park itself, that's outside the city limits, but we're just going to be talking about the selling of land for the substation and maintenance facility. That meeting will be next Tuesday at 5:15 p.m. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Hurt, and thank you for all that information as well. All right, on next is Chief of Police, Mr. Wilson. And I don't see him in the office. All right. Director of Public Works, Mr. Gursky.
Thank you, Your Honor. Oshkosh Street construction is on schedule. They're finishing up in Washington Street intersection so they can start the road excavation in that same area soon. Once that is complete, they'll finish out the curb and gutter work in phase 1 and do the final prep for asphalt. When the asphalt crew is in town, we will be shutting down Wolf River Avenue for up to 2 days to do the final restoration of the asphalt in that entire intersection. This will be a finished surface when complete, unlike Oshkosh, which will remain in binder. Also, the House and Alcan Road project looks to be on schedule to start July 14th. You'll see PCM boards being placed out there a week of the schedule to inform everyone that of the upcoming construction. And that is all I have here.
Thank you, Mr. Gursky. Director of Park and Recreation, Ms. Soul.
Thank you, Your Honor. First off, I want to invite anyone that is interested to come out to a ball game with us at the Timber Rattler Stadium. This day includes transportation, lunch, and a ticket to the game. That is on June 25th. You can call our office at 982-8521 to register for that. And then along with festival foods, we invite everyone to enjoy a fireworks display on the 4th of July to celebrate Independence Day inside Hatton Stadium's gates. The gates open at 6 p.m. There will be kids games, concessions, and a DJ. Fireworks start at dusk, which is generally between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. So invite everybody to join us then. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mrs. Sewell.
Mhm.
Utility Manager, Mr. Bassett.
Thank you, Your Honor. We had an outage on June third at 5:30 PM. It affected approximately 30 customers. It was between Wyman and Dexter Street. Branch came down mid-block across the wires and caused that outage. It took our crews just over an hour to restore service to those customers. And then on June 10th at 3:06, we had the PTS contractor working on Oshkosh Street contact our lines, causing central circuit out of our main substation to operate, affecting approximately 200 customers seeing a blink on their service. And then last, I'd like to recognize Josh Fassbender for 4 years of service with Weather Utilities. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Bassett. And last but not least, fire report, Mr. Ritchie.
On behalf of the fire department, I'd like to recognize Chris Yarich with 3 years of service.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. Last is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Mr. Roberts,
Second.
second by Mr. Fisher. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned.